Do you want to wake up feeling like you're stepping into who you're meant to be, into the best possible version of you? What if I told you that the key to your best life, health, and happiness are all around you? You just have to find what works for you. I'm Hopeful and I believe that there isn't just one way to live a healthy and meaningful life, and that all you need is a little inspiration to make changes that last from the inside out. Each week, I'll be sharing tangible tips and inspirational interviews to help you on your journey. These are the steps to take to improve your life and live with purpose. This is Hopeful and Wholesome.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Hopeful and Wholesome, and welcome back to our series, Align and Refine for 2025, so we can reset, realign, and step into your best year yet. And today, we are talking about relationships and energy. And now I know we've already done an episode on energetic boundaries, which we mentioned relationships, but we're going to specifically talk about relationships. As we begin this new year, I want to talk about relationships because it's something that impacts every area of our lives. Whether it's your partner, your spouse, your friends, family, coworkers, relationships have a direct impact on your energy and how you feel on a day-to-day basis. So in today's episode, we're going to dive into how to maintain meaningful, healthy connections without sacrificing your energy. And you'll learn how relationships affect your energetic body, communication strategies for setting healthy boundaries, and ways to recharge after emotionally draining interactions. So if one of your goals or intentions for 2025 is to cultivate stronger, more fulfilling relationships while protecting your own energy, this episode is for you, my friend. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at the energetic exchange in relationships. Every interaction, whether it's positive or negative, involves some exchange of energy, right? Healthy relationships leave you feeling uplifted and light and joyful, right? While toxic or unbalanced ones can leave you feeling drained, anxious, or emotionally exhausted. And this is right there what I just gave you as a guideline for you to determine whether your relationships are healthy or they're toxic. Now, signs of an energetic imbalance in relationships are feeling emotionally exhausted after spending time with someone, consistently prioritizing other people's or their others' needs before your own, resentment, frustration, guilt, overriding your needs, overriding your desires, right? All of these things creeping into your interactions and feeling resentment, frustration, or guilt around things like this is a sign that there's an energetic imbalance. So why does this matter for 2025? Relationships are the cornerstones of a happy, fulfilling life. And by prioritizing your energy, fostering healthy connections, you really set yourself up for greater emotional stability and joy throughout the year. And I'm all about well-being, and it's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and relationships affect every part of this. And I mentioned this in the energetic boundaries episode, but I want to just mention it again briefly that I've worked with women who have had physical things happen in their body because of what happened to their energy in a relationship. So when I tell you it impacts every area of your life, it impacts every area of your well-being. And that's why I want to bring it into this conversation and bring it into the conversation about 2025. Because if you really want to live this, healthy, fulfilled, purposeful life, relationships are such a huge piece of that. So reflect on your relationships from this last year. Let's just take a minute to think about that, asking yourself, and maybe you journal on this, write it down. Writing it down is always helpful. You know me, I like a good journaling prompt. So maybe you journal on this, think about it. What relationships made you feel energized and supported this year? Right? Maybe you make a list of those. What relationships made you feel energized and supported? And then which ones drained you or caused you stress? Okay, this awareness is a huge first step towards change. And it's just awareness, right? Let's not make up stories, attach any stories to these things, right? We're just bringing up the facts. What relationships made me feel energized and supported? What relationships drained me or caused me stress? Think about it, write it down. Okay, so let's look at communication strategies, okay? Boundaries are key to maintaining your energy in relationships. So let's explore how to set them in a way that feels empowering and respectful, right? We don't want to be harsh, rude. Like, let's do this in a way that feels empowering. So first, get clear on your own needs. Take time to understand what you need from your relationships, right? This is a two-way street. What do you need from your relationships? So for example, if constant late night texts from a friend drain you, your need might be uninterrupted evening downtime, right? And we might need to go back to the energetic boundaries episode and set the boundary that that's just not what, right? We can't do that anymore. Okay, so get clear on your own needs. What do you need from your relationships? If it's a romantic relationship, your spouse, your partner, what do you need in the relationship? Right. And this is also a good time to look at like looking at the five love languages. We talked about that in the episode. If you go back and listen to the episode with Alex and Hannes, we talked about that a little bit, but this is really knowing your needs and then communicating those are going to be really important. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. So get clear on your own needs. So second, number two here, use I statements. So when setting boundaries, you're using phrases like, I need some time to recharge after work before I can talk. I feel overwhelmed when our plans change at the last minute. Can we try to play more in advance? Like these are I statements. So you're communicating your feelings, but you're not blaming the other person. You're not saying, you make me feel this way when you change your plans last minute, right? Put it back on you. I feel overwhelmed when our plans change last minute, right? I need more time to recharge after work before I can talk. Not like, why are you coming at me with blah, blah, right? There are ways to communicate this. I statements is you communicating your feelings without blaming the other person. Number three, practice saying no. I said this in the energetic boundaries episode. Saying no can be hard, especially for women, especially if you're a people pleaser, but it is essential for your own self-care and for preserving your energy. So if you're asked to take on extra tasks at work or wherever that feel overwhelming, try saying things like, I'd love to help, but I'm at capacity right now, right? Or simply, I can't. Sorry, I can't. That's it. Period. The end. Remember, you don't have to have an explanation. You don't have to explain and have a story around it. You don't have to do that. Okay. Number four, check in and adjust. So boundaries evolve, as we talked about in the energetic boundaries episode. So check in regularly with yourself and your relationships, asking yourself, are my boundaries being respected? Do they need tweaking? Do I need to have conversations about this? You as a human are constantly growing and evolving. Your boundaries will as well. Think about this. Take a little time to maybe jot this down or go back later and do it. Write down one boundary that you'd like to set this year and practice communicating it with somebody that you trust. And do this in a way that, like I just said, like in this empowering way, and these ways I just talked about, using I statements, being clear about it, right? Being respectful, but setting the boundary and not communicating it is not setting the boundary. Like it's not, you haven't completed the whole thing there, the whole task, the whole cycle. You have to be clear about it and share it. Like you need to be clear about your boundaries. So set your boundary and communicate it. So even with healthy boundaries, emotional interactions can sometimes leave us feeling drained, depleted, right, energetically. So I want to share a few practices to help you recharge. So first, grounding exercises. I've talked about grounding exercises a handful of times now, but it really is a really powerful tool. So after an intense conversation or a challenging day, try grounding yourself, right? Literally go stand on the ground, go stand in the earth without shoes or socks. Maybe you just sit quietly in your little space that you've created that I talked about in the last episode. Um, Maybe you visualize your energy connecting with the earth. You do that visualization practice I shared with you in the energy healing episode where you're visualizing like you have roots into the earth, like the earth is holding you and you feeling connecting with the earth, right? Grounding exercises can be really helpful. Energy clearing techniques, the ones I talked about in the previous episode, right? Sweeping your energy fields, brushing your hands down your body from head to toe, imagining yourself clearing the heavy energy. Clearing your space, right? Bring you some sage or Palo Santo to work. Sage your space. Number three, create a ritual, a post-interaction ritual. So have a go-to practice to reset after emotional conversation. So maybe it's you take a 10-minute walk outside. Maybe it's you light a candle and you journal. Maybe do a quick meditation. Maybe you do a 5-minute little breath work session, right? Have a little post-interaction ritual that helps clear the energy and kind of brings you back to you. Number four, prioritize self-care. Remember, Self-care is for your own, it's an act of self-respect, right? That's what it is. And it's essential. It's necessary to maintain balance. So block out time weekly for activities to replenish your energy, whether that's reading, walking, yoga, meditation, taking a bubble bath, whatever it is, take time to do that. And then last here is visualizing this protective shield. And I mentioned this in a previous episode, in the energetic boundary episode. But visualizing this protective shield can actually be really helpful, even though it might sound weird or whatever. But before entering a situation where you might feel energetically vulnerable, visualize this protective light around you. Maybe you say a prayer, set an intention for it, but visualizing this protective light around you. So this shield helps you stay grounded and prevents other emotions from affecting you, right? And I mentioned in the energetic boundaries episode, maybe you get super specific with the color and what it looks like, but this energetic shield, you're protecting that in your own energetic field from anything. So that visualization can be really powerful. So pick one of these practices and schedule it into your week. It's none of these are really hard. None of them really take a long time, right? Recharging after interactions is going to help you maintain your energy reserves for what really matters. And it's really going to help you maintain those healthy boundaries that you want to set, right? You've taken the time to set those energetic boundaries we talked about in a previous episode. And these recharging practices are going to help you really stick to that and hold on to your energy reserves and keep your well-being intact, right? Your mental, emotional, and physical, right? All of those aspects of your well-being intact. Let's wrap up this episode by setting some intentions for your relationships for this year. Here's some journaling prompts. Okay, think about this. What kind of relationships do I want to cultivate this year? What boundaries do I need to set to protect my energy? Go back to the energetic boundaries episode. And how will I prioritize self-care to maintain balance? Okay, think about those, contemplate all of that. And then here's some affirmations for you for energetic, just to connect to this energy. And you can use this too with the tapping. So if you're like really getting into the tapping, which that was me when I first learned about tapping. So I used it I learned about EFT tapping probably, I don't know, 5 years ago or so. I was working with a coach, and that was kind of one of the things she used in her practice. And then I just dove into it. And even after I stopped working with her, I would just get on YouTube and find tapping videos and just follow along. And it was such a helpful tool. So if you're getting into the tapping, this could be something that you can say these affirmations while you're doing the tapping, and it really anchors them into your body energetically. So here's a few affirmations. I attract relationships that uplift and energize me. I honor my boundaries as an act of self-love. I release relationships that no longer serve my highest good, right? All of these are really great affirmations to help with your energetic relationships. And again, using it with the tapping can be really powerful. And then last here, create a relationship energy audit. Maybe monthly you do this. Reflect on your relationships and ask yourself, are my connections aligned with my intentions? And what adjustments do I need to make to protect my energy? And this is really just checking in on like your boundaries and your self-care, right? Am I setting the right boundaries for me? What is correct for me? Am I sticking to those? And am I taking care of myself, right? Am I doing those like rituals that I talked about, these like post-interaction rituals I talked about? Am I taking time to like clear my energy and release what's no longer mine, right? Doing this little like energy audit on yourself is really going to be crucial in maintaining your well-being throughout the year and sticking to your intentions on, right? Setting boundaries and maintaining connection in your relationships without draining yourself, which is the why title of this episode. So I wanted to bring this to you. Set time on your calendar for this like relationship energy check-in, right? To stay aligned through the year. And I think that's really the key, is just being intentional about setting the time for it. Because we can say we all have great intentions, but it gets in the way. So if you make this a calendar thing, so it's like, the last Friday of the month or whatever, I do a little energy check-in with myself and really ask yourself, check in with all of these things. How is my energy feeling? Am I feeling like, going back to what I had said at the very beginning when I set those prompts for you of like what relationships made you feel energized and supported and which ones made you feel drained or cause you stress? This is something good to do in this little energy audit for yourself and really check in And then if you're feeling drained and stressed by relationships, then it's a good place to bring in some curiosity and figure out why. Is it you're not setting clear enough boundaries? Is it that this relationship is now a toxic one and maybe we need to do something about it, right? This is something to think about. Maintaining healthy relationships while protecting your energy is really one of the most important things you can do for yourself ever, but especially in 2025, we're setting ourselves up in this new year for success. By setting healthy boundaries, prioritizing your self-care, and really staying intentional about your connections, you can create deeper, more meaningful relationships without feeling drained, without it affecting your physical, mental, emotional well-being, right? So I hope this deep dive into relationships and energy was helpful for you. Again, you can go into the show notes and get my little free gift for my holistic detox and start diving into these practices, because this is also going to help. The holistic detox helps with every aspect of life, but it really is going to help even with this, even with relationships. So dive into that, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Hopeful and Wholesome, y'all. If you found value in this week's episode, please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review to let me know what you thought. I'd love to know what you find useful in these episodes so I can know how to provide the most value I can to my listeners. And if you have topics you'd like to know more about, I'd love to hear those as well. So shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. It's at @thehopepedraza, or you can visit my website, hopefulandwholesome.com. Thanks, y'all.